Okay, so when we start these questions, we have to identify what our variables are. And basically, we have the formula that is looking like this. The final amount equals the initial amount. This means n at time 0. A, which is the base, and then n is the number of periods. So in this one, we're looking to find out how much is left after the given number of years. So we're starting out with 100. So in this formula, we're given 100. This is a half-life question. In the half-life questions, it means it's being multiplied by a half every period. It also says what the half-life of this carbon is, which is 5,730 years, and it says how much will be left after 11,460 years. Well, guess what? That's 2 half-lives. It's exactly double the length of time of 1 half-life. So that's 2 half-lives, which is why n is 2. So I put that up there. And this is the easiest kind to solve because we just do this with our calculator and get that n is 25. And we should put the units, what do we got, grams? We should have a little therefore statement. I'm not going to do it on here, but you should do it on a test or an exam, okay? Next question. Now we're finding the base, okay, the value of A. And this is a money question. It says that 10,000, what we started with, grew to 200,000, what we ended with, over a period of 30 years. And we want to find out the interest rate. So again, I'm going to fill in the formula. I'll write it down below this time. Final amount equals initial amount times a to the exponent 30. When we're doing these, anytime we're doing something to do with this, we need to get it by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 10,000 to get that to cancel off. And I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we've now got is the equation a to the exponent 30 is 20. Well, the opposite of a to the exponent 30 or to the exponent 30 is the 30th root. So I'm going to do the 30th root of both sides. And you're going to do this with your calculator. Above the y to the x button, you should see a symbol looking like this, or the square root. It's not the square root sign, but the root sign with a spot to put. I guess it says x there. Anyway, when you do this with your calculator, you should be getting 1.105. This part of it is the percent, or the rate of increase. Therefore, 10.5% is the answer. Again, that comes from that part right there. That is the rate that we're talking about. All right, now the last question. It says that your money has quadrupled and the interest rate is 8%. So that's where this 1.08 comes from. If it's growing at 8%, it's 1 plus 0.08. If it's decaying at 8%, this number would be 0.92. We would subtract 0.08 from 1. Anyhow, we have 4 equals 1 times 1.08 to the exponent n. This is a 1, so we don't have to do anything with it. If it was another number, we'd have to divide both sides by that because we want to isolate this. So right now, we have 4 equals 1.08 to the exponent n. And I've said on more than one occasion, this is why we use logarithms, is to find exponents. If I write this in log form, n is the exponent on the base, make sure you write this subscript, that gives the answer 4. And the 4 should be even with the log. It's the 1.08 that's subscript. Anyway, when you evaluate this with our calculators, just like you see it, you're going to get 18 years. Just a note, when we're doing this, we can do this different ways. There is this actual button on our calculator above the pi button. We can also do the log of 4 over the log of 1.08. And honestly, this is what I do. This is what I grew up with, is using either the log button or the log natural button. However, our calculator does have the actual log base a of b or log base a of x button on the calculator. So it's kind of cool. Another way I want to talk about doing this, I'll bring this down here. If I were to do the log of both sides, oops, didn't mean to do that. I could write this, log of both sides, and then this n, laws of logarithms, goes in front. So now I've got log of 4 is n log 1.08. You all know to get n by itself, we are going to divide both sides by the log of 1.08. That will cancel off. That's why I did it. And this, whatever that is, will be our answer. Well, guess what? That's what I wrote up here, doing it a slightly different way. So you can either write it in log form and do it straight in our calculator, or you can do the log of both sides, which I did here. And honestly, that's what I was taught growing up, because we didn't have the fancy calculator that would do that right there. So that's how you can do these questions.